Hi, my name is Benjamin Dew, and I am the CEO of Seattle Christian Counseling, and I'm here with Chris Chandler. He is one of our senior counselors and has been running groups for about the past 10 years. He's currently running social anxiety groups, and I'm happy to have him here. So a little bit about what this group entails.
Yeah, the group is really designed for adolescents and young adults ages 13 to 25, and the goal of the group really is just to create a space where young people can come together and figure out how they're interacting with others, get some really helpful feedback, learn some tools, techniques to be more effective in interacting with their peers, parents, teachers, and so on.
What are some of the takeaways that, I guess if I'm a parent and I am wondering whether or not this group's going to be a good fit for my kid, what are some things that, I guess what are some of those things that I might be thinking about,
really, the benefit of a group like this is that it's going to be able to provide a space that your teen is not going to get in other environments. So, classrooms, sports teams, or even isolated, World of Warcraft and video game, settings. I mean, they're just not getting a context these days where they can come together in a little bit more of an intimate, kind of close-knit group and really interact with some of their peers in a way that is meaningful and substantial, where they can ask questions, get feedback, really experience from other people, hear from their peers how they're being experienced, and be able to feel free to try some new things out, try asking new questions, try giving some feedback without fear that they're going to be rejected or that they're going to, lose a friend.
So can I give you a little bit of feedback here?
Yeah.
So it'd be kind of like that. You give some feedback just on how you're experiencing them in the process, so that they can start thinking about how they're coming across.
Exactly, which is so uncommon. We don't have those kinds of conversations these days.
Good. Anything else that really stands out with the populations that this group is really focusing in on?
So it's this is going to be really geared towards individuals with Asperger's disorder. Anyone on that kind of end of the spectrum that's having
kind of the social anxieties,
any kind of social challenges. It's going to be really structured and skill based, so it's not going to be kind of fluffy and hey, let's just kind of talk about our feelings all the time. It's going to be really it's going to be structured around learning some skills, practicing some skills, getting feedback on those skills, which I think is really helpful for those kinds of populations, because those kids are struggling with those kinds of things.
Yeah, so I'd be thinking about, if I'm a parent and I've got a child with social anxiety, maybe they don't like hanging out face-to-face with other people their age, and they're just used to having a medium like World of Warcraft in between, or they're used to communicating via the internet. How could I encourage them to come into this group and be part of this in a way that would help reduce their anxiety just getting in the door, because I could see that being a big issue.
Totally. It's a great question. Sometimes it's helpful if they come in for an initial just kind of meet and greet, get to know, so that we can get to know each other on an individual basis. Sometimes that can be less threatening. Sometimes, honestly, I've even done just Skype interactions with kids that are having social anxiety enough to just come into the door of an office like this.
Okay.
That way it kind of breaks down that initial barrier that might keep them from at least coming in and checking it out. Once they're in the door, I think they'll be able to experience the lack of judgment, the acceptance, the safety, the comfortability that they're really desiring and not getting anywhere else.
Okay, so how is this different than, say, going to a youth group or something like that for a kid that's dealing with social anxiety?
This is not a oftentimes what I hear from kids that are going to like a youth group or things like that is that it's blasted out. It's kind of a megaphone type experience where they're not personally being engaged with in meaningful ways. Particularly these kids that are struggling with social difficulties, they're the ones that are still on the fringes, regardless of what the social context is that they're involved in. They're not being invited to participate, and that involvement is not, even if they are invited, it's not being sustained consistently. It's kind of, so
they're able to hide in those environments.
Eventually they're able to get right back into their role of hiding.
Okay. And so in this small, more intimate setting, there's going to be just a lot more of that direct contact, dealing with, working with teens and young adults who have similar issues, and so they're going to be able to support each other and get them stronger.
They're going to be able to come out of their hiding, and you know, one of the things over the years that I've found more than anything is that they're desperate to do that. They want social interaction. It's not, they hate hiding. They hate hiding behind a two-dimensional computer screen. They want real interaction. They just don't know how to do that. So this kind of context brings them into a situation where they literally can't run and hide. I mean, I guess they could, but they don't want to, and so they're able to stay in it and experience that. And, it's scary, it's freeing, it's exciting, it's all those things.
Good. Well, let me just say I've heard great things about Chris Chandler and the groups that he's run over the years. He gets a lot of positive feedback, makes a lot of traction in those groups, and so if you have a child or you are, a college student struggling with some of these issues, this is going to be a safe place to be able to work through some of those issues.